Hey, how are you? How's everyone doing? It's the end of February, and I had some books that I had accumulated, and I got an orange bandana. No, really, what I got is a yellow BCW box, and I want to transfer some stuff over into it. So I thought, let's go ahead and roll the camera. I have another one of these on the way. Um, when you get to be on my age, buying these in a dark color, you're a lot more likely to stub your toe on it, and these ridges have definitely made an impression upon me. So I got another yellow one on the way. I thought it would be cool, like for some horror comics, and I know you might think, well, wouldn't a darker color, like, I don't know, the shade of black be more in tune with horror? And I think no. I think yellow is a pretty ghastly color for the most part. I mean, sure, the sun is yellow, and butterflies are yellow, and rainbows are partially yellow, but there's just something about yellow that's always struck me as a kind of like the most terrifying color. And orange, my brother has been sharing his fondness for the Halloween movies with me since autumn, so broke out the orange. All right, so I finished this book right here. This is my big read completion this year. But Oja, this was incredible. I was chipping away at it, and then one day I just broke out, with like a good 2-hour reading session, and that was enough to wrap this up. And it's definitely a lot like the Sam Keith, the Friends of Max stuff. The art is really great, and what I really got a kick out of is a lot of it reminds me of the art from the Max MTV show. Literally, like how the animation on that looks when it's not still framing the great Sam Keith. So I get to kind of retire this, but I'm definitely going to keep that close by for another read, maybe in the summertime. We're having a White Claw surge. Just got back from a really nice family dinner at Norm's on a Thursday night. I'm so glad that they're back to being open 24 hours. All right. This just arrived as a free book. I'm not too sure what it is, but printed in Canada. Let me take a quick look. This was a throw-in with a book I got. I don't know what it is. Oh, Ronan Island by Greg Pak and Giannis Milona Giannis and Irma Nivelia. So, okay, cool, some samurai stuff. I'm always up for that. Who put this out? This is Boom Studios. It's got that nice Canadian boom paper on it. So, it's a nice throw-in. Right off the bat, it has my attention. Starts kind of meditative, but if you know anything about these samurai stories, they start tranquil, but those swords aren't just for practicing. There's some boat racing, so a nice little throw in. I'll show you what I actually got, which this was thrown in with in a little bit when I get to it. Speaking of the Friends of the Max stuff, I had to get this from one of those used bookstores, and this was from Thrift Books, and it wasn't even on their eBay store. I actually did a Google search for this title, and like I said, I'm batting about 500 with this company, and they have, their sales are in the millions, and I think they have something about like 98% positive feedback. And sometimes you get a really nice book, which this seems to be. This is Sam Keith, The Max, Volume 6, and this collects all of the Friends of the Max staff, and a bonus story that was included with the Max 3D edition, printed for the first time in 2D. So, it's the Friends of the Max, Book 1. I really did like this cover. I don't think I've seen this image before. Again, it's a used copy, but nothing's missing, and luckily it's not a former library copy, which I don't frown upon. I'll buy those, but you want to go in knowing that it's got labels on it and stuff. It's been stamped with ink. Nice diner scene right there. Trying to find another cover. I'll figure out really early on that I got to kind of hold stuff a little higher for this camera level, so the whole video won't be down here. Isn't that a great cover, you guys? No, we'll figure it out early on this time. It's definitely a little. I was a little rusty last time, but thanks for everyone who watched that. And yeah, acknowledging the loss of a friend. Thanks for everyone who watched that video. Anyhow, we're almost into March of 2026. And I do have some books on the way. I was actually postponing this video, but the books I'm most excited about, I ordered a week ago, and they haven't. The seller created a shipping label, and that was the last update I got. So theoretically, they could have already arrived by now, but the seller still has them, which eventually it just starts to feel like you loan them some money, right? When the payment's probably cleared through eBay, so I'm loaning this guy some bucks. And meanwhile, I'm also loaning him my book that I want to, actually, a collection of books, a series of covers that I'm really excited about finishing. But I don't know, I don't want to start being a pesky with this seller too quickly. They got 100% feedback. I don't know what's going on though. I just don't want them to drop the whole thing and refund. Because I'd really like the books at this point. Please excuse the fan running. I've been cleaning up all day, and aside from going out to dinner, it's a little warm in here. Alright, I bought these directly from one of my favorite indie artists, writers, Jason Martin. He had initially written a lot of Zombie Tramp with the great Dan Mendoza, but they've since split to different projects, and I still really like what Jason Martin does. This is a trade. Again, I've gone really trade heavy this year. I want to launch a series of videos called Rig Reads. But this is Danger, Doll Squad, Amalgama Lives. This is an amalgamation of Zombie Tramp, Vamp Blade, and Dollface. and this book is split by two artists, one of whom I really like their artwork, and the other who, excuse me, I tolerate. And the artist that I really admire is Winston Young. The artist that I'm less thrilled by splits the book with Winston Young, and his name is Marco McCagney. And I'll just show you the Winston Young stuff. This is a Marco McCagney back cover. He's not bad, but I wouldn't go to him. It's because of Winston Young that, and obviously Jason Martin's writing, that I really come to these projects for. This is the same creative team involved with the making of Prince S, Star Thief, a really cool independent book that comes out, I'd say about maybe 3 issues every 2 years, something like, a little bit more regular than an issue every 2 years. It's a slow process. It's a cool page. Again, I need to check my marker. Okay, we're on point. So, yeah, I think I have this in separate issues, but sometimes you just want a nice edition to sit down with on a breezy Sunday afternoon, if you're not being detained, God willing, and just bang out some pages. That's a lot of McCagney in the back here. All right. Sometimes they'll work on the same book and they'll sort of bounce back and forth. But anyway, so Amalgama, when I'm back far enough, everything's all right. That's when I try to get too close. All right, Vamp Blade, Volume 1. This is all Jason Martin and Winston Young, straight up. This book is really cool. It's a lot of science fiction. It's that grindhouse thing. But the collaboration of Winston Young and Jason Martin, it's just really cool. So, I actually haven't read this in about 7 years, and this is one of those things where you could get a lot of the trades, but for some reason you just hit like certain volumes where the trades are just really hard to come by, and I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going on. I just think they were really low print, and I bet there's some fans out there that are smart and just hold on to them. It is kind of crazy when trades come to be a lot more valuable than the original issues combined. So that's like the first 4 issues, Volume 1, and I think it's probably like 15 volumes. No need to bag and board those. Keep going with some more Sam Keith. This is it's another one of the black and white trades. The Friends of the Max, that was in color. That's like Image, but this is another thing I had to buy off a used bookstore. It's crazy because couple of years ago, you could really just have a field day like, picking out Sam Keith stuff. And then I think like, and this is kind of cool, kind of a blessing, kind of a curse. There's a lot of like Sam Keith fan club groups on Facebook. And I think that that kind of networking really gets a lot of people excited, like groups to track down these books. And this is my inner bimbo. This actually has the grandfather character from Oja. And what's going on here is he's sort of having, from what I've gathered, I haven't read it, he's having a little bit of a crisis where, I didn't even know how to put it. Sort of like his spirit animal, his being of duality that he shares his given vessel with happens to be this dishy blonde. And he's wrestling with that. It's definitely a side of this character you don't see in Oja, because he's really there for his granddaughter. But by the time you get to this is him younger, wrestling with his own kind of dilemma. And I believe this is gray tone from originally in color stuff, which I don't mind. But I'm pretty certain if you do collect the loose issues, you will be able to acquire these in a nice full color. And the cool thing here is, while it is Sam, zany, cartoony, doing his character studies, at the same time, you are getting some really, really intricately rendered Sam Keith stuff. So, if you ever just want to like have a cool, free Sam Keith free-for-all, he did vlog for a while, and I forget exactly what his vlog was called, but it's something like, if you look up like Sam Keith, not vlog, blog. If you look up Sam Keith trout, the fish, trout blog, you will come across a huge amount of work he did, just sharing his original artwork, taking really nice photographs of his stuff, which he's pretty much held on to all of it. I mean, fair market value on his artwork. He probably has potentially like $6 or $7 million worth of artwork. I kid you not. Just because, I mean, he's more prolific than Todd McFarlane, and his stuff, like the Todd Fathers, it goes for a fortune. So if anyone ever hears about like a museum exhibition of Sam's stuff, that would really be worth checking out. I think that could be a really arresting, amazing experience. So that's kind of a bigger book. It's nice that it's oversized. I have been trying to get the Sam Keith. He did a Mars Attacks miniseries. I've been trying to get the trade for that. It's running about $35, and I don't want to do that. I bought one along with another Mars Attacks trade for $25, and then the seller said it got water damaged, or he just canceled. So, c'est la vie. Anyway, this is some of the other stuff I bought from Jason Martin. This is a Josh Howard cover for Dollface 1 that I never owned. So, I always love that beautiful Dollface character. Fortunately, her stuff is permanently frozen on like issue 15 with no real signs of resolving itself. So that's unfortunate. It's tied up in probably ownership details. Here's another Josh Howard cover, and he's got a little damaged in the post. Top corner got crinkled, but you know, sometimes you buy from the artist to support them, and sometimes they don't really get you the stuff that great. It's kind of why I had to stop buying from Jim Ballant. Holly Golightly, she handles all of the merch, and I promised myself after last time I wouldn't, because I brought up the damages, and she was like a floopy artist about it. So I just I said, okay, I'm not gonna buy from the Broadsword store. But then they started going exclusive to Kickstarter, and I know she's probably fulfilling the what do you call it, the rewards. So I might hit another wall there. But I figure she's doing this on a much bigger scale. I figure if I don't go crazy and just get a couple of the tarot books, I got a pretty good chance of getting them in somewhat of a collector's quality. If not, then I really know I can't go with Broadsword directly. Anyway, let's hope, because I pledged to that Kickstarter in good faith, knowing that it might not go right. But give me my books like an 8.0, just where I could at least feel like, okay, I wanted them, they're decent, they're not great, but I just don't want them to arrive jacked. I bought this for dirt cheap. This is available on Amazon for about $10, and I do have this material, but for a really nice hardcover from the Frank Miller Presents run of books, this is on Amazon for $9.41 shipped. Frank Miller's Pandora. I still haven't read it. It's got a $24.99 street value. If you go into Barnes & Noble, if you are still lucky enough to have a Barnes & Noble, it will be $24.99, but I really do like Emma Kubert's just really nice style. And I don't think I've ever truly read, this is written by Frank, art by Emma Kubert. I don't know the extent to which, I don't think she's coloring it. I'm pretty sure she's inking it. And I think they got someone coloring and lettering for her. But this just looks really whimsical, and I do love some lighthearted fantasy storytelling. So typically written by Neil Gaiman, but I know like Frank Miller's got a granddaughter that's kind of the light of his life, so he's probably got some cool inspiration and he wanted to maybe write a story for her. I know when Stephen King did his first fantasy book, it was probably because his little girl was reading that kind of tale. But yeah, so this character looks cool for $10, like a really nice hardcover. show you how it looks without the dust jacket. Just like that. A little higher rig. Raise her up, raisey daisy. And Amazon delivered this as promised in nice condition. So I'm officially into Pandora for a little bit of money without knowing if it's the least bit good. But at least it's not big money. This is the latest volume of Something is Killing the Children. This is volume 9. This is Boom Studios, fresh from the printer. I recently bought a collection from a seller in New York, and they were kind enough to mail me this Something is Killing the Children, Slaughterhouse, and Books of Slaughter collection in the middle of one of the worst storms New York has had in 20 some odd years. So I'm trying to flip through this without absorbing any of it, but because I'm not anywhere near on volume 9, so hopefully that's something I can share a little bit. But I had this pre-ordered on Amazon. It's a great way to get these. $17.99 cover. This encompasses issues 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. So that's a 5-issue trade. $17.99, $18. So you're getting each book for roughly, what is the math on that? About $3.50 a piece, maybe? Davis would know exactly how much, but so you're basically beating cover price, but you miss out on the collectability of having an original issue. But by the time you're on 41 through 50, pretty good chance that I don't know, you might not be hitting on any real keys that far into the run, but you never know. Like The Walking Dead had some of their biggest keys around issue 100, so something like that. This is some more Sam Keith. This time I did get a sticker, but this is a nice Homage Studios. So this is when Jim Lee had diverted from Image, but he hadn't quite gone full DC. I always assumed that this was going to be Sarah from the Max, but I'm pretty sure that Zero Girl is something else. But you are looking at some really bright pinks and turquoises, some of Sam's favorite colors. These are his happy colors. You can kind of tell that Sam's happy doing this. He loves his turquoise. But I don't think I had all of these loose, so I don't know what this is. I don't think this is Max Universe, but it looks fun. So there's that. Next one. These were my this was probably the dirtiest that a used bookstore has ever done me. I thought this was a good price for this book, and then I got it, and I had repairs to do. I had to weave this sucker back together, but I wanted it. I got a reader copy, and it's mine, but let's just start with some of the recovery process of bringing this back up to even being slightly presentable. I had to paint the cover, to which I covered my painted area with some Scotch tape to keep the paint from peeling. And then there was a big library decal on the spine. It wasn't coming off, so I had to paint over that. And and then there was the repairs, just the tape, and just so much unappealing stuff, and I had to flatten it out. But you know, it even has like a theft device on it right there. So it does smell like a library, though. This is Alan Moore's Complete Wildcats. I'd always heard this wasn't as good as Alan Moore's work on Supreme, but this is Wildcats 1 through 34, and it's material from Wildcats 50. I just heard this was fun, and we always just kind of knew that, you know, Wildcats, Brandon Choi, he did what he could. He tries to do like politics and espionage and just heavy governmental themes in his work, and it's never quite as good as like Frank Miller when he's drawing and writing like really hard-boiled kind of material like that. But you got Travis Charest on the art. I always really liked Charest a lot. Those Batman covers he did right before Nightfall are some of my favorite, like, detective covers. But yeah, I don't really know what this feels like. I really do like the work Alan Moore did for like Spawn. I really, really like the work he did for obviously everything he did for Liefeld's really good. But I've yet to like really read the stuff where Jim Lee sought out excellent writers, like you know, there's that run of Stormwatch that's really good. I guess Warren Ellis wrote a little bit after like Transmetropolitan, so you really want to read that. And this stuff right here, this is the lighthearted stuff, but this is Alan Moore again with the Wildstorm Studios, and this is all the stuff with Spawn and Wildcats. There was a Spawn Wildcats, and there was a Voodoo miniseries, but this one's a lot easier to get, so I was able to buy from an actual comic book like retailer. But oh yeah, and Alan Moore also wrote some pretty good stuff with Violator and Bad Rock. The Violator miniseries is incredible, but the Violator Bad Rock stuff is also pretty good. So there's the lovely Miss Voodoo. It's a pretty good rendering of Spawn, you know. Not one of the top guys, but what do we have on the art details here? Moore is joined by distinguished collaborators Jim Bakke, Travis Charest, Scott Clark, and Carlos Thianda, as well as Mario Lopez. Michael Lopez, sorry. I was going to say. Anyway, so not nearly as beat up as this one right here, but what do you expect? Like I said, you bat about 500 with those places. Eventually you're going to get something like that. I bought this. This is a lot of the Iron Fist stuff that runs through Marvel Comics Presents, which is really cool. I haven't read too much of Iron Fist, but that is like a recoloring of a Sam cover from Marvel Comics Presents. Really inexpensive trade. Wow. The cover price is $34.99. Ooh, you could really get beat up on this, but you know, $8 shipped. You know, you get the Jay Lee stuff too. Jay Lee on Iron Fist is pretty nice. This came out in 2017, and it includes the Spider-Man 41, 42, and 43 books. Marvel Comic presents 111, 113 through 118, 125 through 137, and 140 through 141, as well as Namor the Submariner Annual number 3, which is all detailed in proper context right there, but that's probably the Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man after Todd left, after Larson left. And then this is definitely going to be the Marvel Comics Present stuff. And that looks pretty cool. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe not the most crazy page turner, but I mean, you gotta love Jay Lee on Spidey and Iron Fist. It just looks like a lot of fun. So, good, cheap fun. 90s Marvel put out in the 2000 teens. Huge sticker price, but ultimately aftermarket comes down by about 75%. What do we got here? Okay. I'm going to start off by showing this, which I probably showed maybe like 5 years ago. But I did really like the Tony Fleecs on Stray Dogs. It's an adorable story. The art is right out of Disney, but the story is anything but. It's a nice little splash of kind of dueling genres. The second being, well, I can't really even say without spoiling it. We'll just say that it's kind of like a Disney meets, say, a psychological thriller kind of thing, without just dropping the overall story on you. If you haven't read this, it's great material. So I'm showing this because I picked up another project by, I believe, the same artist. Let me see. So Tony Fleecs and the art by Trish Forstner. Let me see if she worked on this one as well. Okay, yeah. And Rodriguez is... So it looks like they got a different colorist on this, perhaps. Let me see. So we got Tony Fleecs on art again. On writing. Trish Forstner, artist. Brad Simpson is back doing colors. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it is pretty much the same creative team. Brad Simpson back on colors. The only difference is on Stray Dogs. Tony Fleecs had some layout assistance by Tone Rodriguez. So you're getting this same team back if you enjoyed Stray Dogs. On this book, which I'd never heard of, but they'd managed to put out 3 complete trade paperbacks. And this is, it's not Stray Dogs, but it's a book called Feral, also put out by Image Comics. I haven't read any of this. I just sort of saw that lineup, kind of a cool cover. And instead of dogs, we're dealing with cats this time. And I don't know if it's going to be the same dynamic with the writing that you had with Stray Dogs, but it looks like it kind of could be. So I haven't seen any of this. I just know they're feral cats. And Stray Dogs was actually a really nice surprise when it came out. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be more, that same genre mashup, but the first trade is called Indoor Cats. This one is called Cat Lady. And again, I've mounted up a lot of reading to do. So luckily we did buy some new lamps, so we have a shot at it. So that's Cat Lady, book 2. And book 3, these are really cute cats too. 9 lives, and a little bit of special effect on the cover, matted and then shiny for the central figure there. 9 lives, book 3. I don't know if there's a book 4. So I've been kind of boning up my horror readings, so let's see if this fits in or if this is something else. I'm already kind of like committed to it. And just because I've been talking to Jacob in the comments, and he's been telling me that he's collecting some Junji Ito stuff. So in keeping with the cat theme, I bought Yan and Mu. This is a manga book, so read right to left. I know that Junji Ito's got probably 20 volumes, big books of manga horror. Just more stuff than I could possibly try to accumulate right now. But this seemed like a nice starting place. Give you a little peek of the art. I don't know what genre this is. I know what he's known for, and he does stories that exercise in terror. So I hope it's not too terrifying involving these cats. I hope they're perpetrating the terror. But so I'm gonna try that out. So manga-sized book. So I think that's. Oh, we got a little bit more stuff, do we? Yeah, I'll show one more thing. Video. My last video was an hour. I'll keep this one under 50 minutes. So this is something I always wanted to read since 1993 or 94, whichever year the Jim Carrey movie came out. But in darn, I also have a trade somewhere of The Crow. I don't know where all my stuff is, but so I'm kind of like catching up on all the 90s comic book movies that they put out their trades once the movies came out to show that new audience their material. But this is the Dark Horse book of The Mask. So all I ever knew about this was it's not like the Jim Carrey movie. It's a little it's not the Tex Avery animation laughs. It's more like a little bit more homicidal. The laughs come more from how over the top violent it is, maybe. But it always sounded really cool, and you just never got it. So, 30 years later, I will see how this stuff is in comparison with the movie, which I know it's going to stand alone as its own thing. So definitely suggested for mature readers. So this is not in print. It's currently out of print, so you're forced to go with the aftermarket. This collects the original run. There are 2 other trades. I guess there's maybe the Masks Revenge or something like that. But they even kind of have to explain it. So just always really loved the movie, and just my first real read through of this material. And like I said, I got the Crow somewhere, but not here. But it's just the standard the Crow trade paperback that came out after the Brandon Lee movie. Anyhow, that's about it for now. I got a lot of reading to do. I do have a couple of books in top loaders that I'll just show real quick. This first one is covered by Trent Kanuga of this is a Halloween book that came out 2000, something like that. But one of my favorite 90s artists, Trent Kanuga, drawing Michael Myers right there with lots of pumpkins, and it's kind of a negotiation I made with the seller. I pointed out this corner, and we have, you can't even really see it, but like there's a little confetti of the corner that's just kind of hanging off. That it doesn't make it less enticing to me, but it is kind of the thing you bring to a seller's attention when trying to come up with a fair price for both people's best interests. But that's just really cool. Yeah, my brother's really shared his enthusiasm of the shape with me, and I have henceforth seen the first 2 movies, if I ever have seen them, for the first time, definitely sitting down and watching them. And this other one is a Frank Miller cover. This is from that Xerxes miniseries that came out about 8 years ago. So Frank's style is a little bit in between what he was doing 15, 20 years ago and what he's doing now. So he's still using the old tools of the trade. You can see he's using a crow quill. He definitely broke out the brushes for this, the whiteout, the whole thing. But this is Xerxes, and that's a gold cover. So that's fun, right? It really shimmers with all the ornation, and it's just really beautiful use of the gold foil. It's not really played to gimmick. It actually enhances the cover. So I'm still waiting on all the stuff that Frank has supposedly coming this year from his Frank Miller Presents comic line. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll just tell you, I'm expecting some of those Street Fighter cover swipes, and I'm just kind of waiting to see if the seller's going to send them. It's been about 5 or 6 days, and they haven't moved. And like I said, the person did create the labels, and then they just seem to be sitting on the stuff. So hopefully it's not like what happened with the Mars Attacks Sam Keith book, where the seller cancels for what he said was the items were damaged, water damage kind of thing. Hopefully they still send, and if not, at least I can hear from them. And I prefer the books over the refund, but 6 days is cool, and then once you start to go into double digits, you at least want communication. But it hasn't been a nightmare. Remaining positive, I really like some of those Street Fighter cover swipes. And guys got 100% feedback. I'm just kind of like waiting, like, okay, this is going to get a little weird for us both if he doesn't at least reply in the next 4 or 5 days. Because technically they should have arrived by now, even by eBay's calendar. So we got a nice big yellow box. Yeah, that's the first big BCW plastic box of the new year. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back with the usual editing style. I'll just load this up as it is, the old way, and hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you see some things that you'd like to read. All right, thanks for your time.